Hey guys, this is Joan, and today I'm going to show you some of my artwork that I've done over the years. Um, and I'm just going to pick my tripod up here for a second. Hi Juno, this abstract watercolor I did back in 1997 in one of my watercolor classes that I took. And here's the other one. They're actually a pair. One is done, this is done with wet, it's called wet on dry, so it's wet paint on dry paper, and the other one over here is done wet on wet. So, it was an abstract interpretation of a photo. So I want you guys to guess and tell me what you think the photo was of. Okay? And if anyone guesses correctly, you'll get a prize. I don't know what it is, but you'll get a prize. So, this here, I took a drawing class this past summer. We have a summer arts festival here every year, and you can take classes in the visual arts, performing arts, music. They have a wide array of classes that you can take. So this was one of the drawings. This was called, sorry about my shadow, this was a class called Drawing with the Right Brain. And so I don't know if you can see here, but my construction marks, my measurements, that's what we had to do. And my instructor wanted us to keep those in there. So that was that, and it was fun to take a drawing class because I haven't taken a drawing class since college, and that was a long time ago. I've taken a lot of watercolor classes, but no drawing classes. So we went up to the museum up at the university where they have a lot of artifacts, and I did this in about a half an hour. It was a quick sketch of some sealskin boots. And the boots were, this part was like a white or an off-white, brown down here, and then this edging here, it looked kind of like rickrack, but it wasn't. It looked like red felt, and then the dots were all red. And then the flower here, it was beads in blue, and they were just beautiful. So what I've done is I've made photocopies so I can actually try to do a watercolor from that. All right, now we're going to go way back in time. These are drawings that I did way back in high school, and I hope you can see. These are what are called line drawings. And boy, I realize maybe if I get the camera shadow in the way, it will help. And the paper is really degrading. I should do something with them. But these were just sketches of hands and just doing line drawing technique. I had some really wonderful teachers in high school. I was fortunate. And here is a sketch of Venus de Milo. We had a statue that we drew from. And so that was in, geez, does it say? I got a B- on it. Whoop! Hang on here. Sorry, folks. Thought using the tripod would be easy, but maybe it isn't. I don't know. It was probably 1970, 71, or 72. And I am such a knob at this. Here, we had to do a collage of the bones of the feet. My instructors were adamant about us learning about the underlying structures of the body. So, especially the bones. And that was the beginning of my knowledge of medical terminology. So again, this was 70, 71, 72, and as you can see, the drawing paper has gotten quite yellow, and I got a B+ on that one. Okay, here, this is a photocopy, but I did this drawing, I actually made a card for a really good friend of mine for her birthday, and I did this in watercolor pencil. It looks a little different because it's photocopied, but that's the gist of it. Here's one that I did back in 1997, and my favorite part about this are the buildings. I just loved the way the buildings turned out, and I had never really done anything that was anywhere close to being successful as a landscape, so I was really happy with this one. The girl and the dog, not so much, but I really love the buildings. This one we called Farmer Brown. I have no idea what his name was, but we were working off of a photograph again here, and he's not completed. I have to finish doing the shading here in his cap and on his forehead, and just finish up. His shirt's not done, but I don't have the photo anymore, so it makes it hard. This is one I did of my daughter, Elizabeth. It was, I don't know, one of her school pictures, probably her 9th grade picture. And as you can see, there are some issues with proportion. Her eyes don't look equal. But I was learning this new technique in watercolor and portraiture with the use of color. Because if you can see in her hair, she has green and red and blue and yellow in her hair. So that was Elizabeth. I took a landscape painting course 2 years ago in that same summer arts festival here. So that's just a kind of a summer birch study. And here's a fall birch study, pretty much the same thing, just a summer and a fall version of it. It was funny, we were doing those and our instructor did hers first, and then she had us do our own. And so I did mine, and she was like, you know what, I really like yours better than mine. And I was just kind of blown away. Here's this one. This one I feel is really just kind of flat. There isn't as much depth to it. You can see the depth in this one versus that one. So this isn't one of my favorites. I could work on it more if I decided I wanted to, but I probably won't. All right, and here's some of my framed pieces. Again, I did this from a photograph, and it's watercolor pencil, and these are columbine that we're growing in our front yard. And this was my first attempt at using watercolor pencil. Watercolor pencil is a lot of fun because you can go in and get your sharp lines and then go in with a wet brush and blend colors and smooth them out and get a different effect, a different finish. And then you can go in with your pencil and define with sharp lines again. So those are really buildable. Here is a watercolor, a landscape. I really like this one. I think I like this better than my other ones. Of course, I like abstract art. So this is just something that I just did. I wasn't looking at anything. And I really like this tree, but I really love the way these trees look. Like I say, I know that the spotlights are creating a lot of glare and reflections, but I wanted you to have good light so you could see. So there's that one. This one, I took a class here, and this is of Northern Lights. And again, this is like a duochromatic watercolor. I'm not sure that it's picking up the colors quite accurately. These areas in here are a pale green, and then these are blue. So it's 2 colors. And again, I just kind of did this. I wasn't really working off of any particular subject, but you can see the little trees here along the shoreline. And this is one of my favorite colors. I just love this color, but you know what? It's looking, at least on the camera, it's looking really washed out. Going back to, this is 1996. So again, this is from that same woman that I took watercolor class from back in Madison when we lived there. And this one I actually did, it was a photo from National Geographic. And so that's the lady, and it was so funny. I would show this to people, and people would ask me if it was a portrait of me, and I'm like, what? But people, I don't know. Sometimes you have to wonder. And this, I think, is, if not one of my favorites, my favorite watercolor that I've done. And again, this was a photo in National Geographic, and it was of one of the terracotta warriors. And I really like this guy. I just really like the way he turned out. I love the colors. I love the shading. So, whoop, got a little bit of dog fur on the frame. So the ones in the frames, obviously, I have hanging around the house. And the ones on the wall that I showed you initially, that you have to guess what the subject was, those hang up too. So some of them do, some of them don't. And I'm not a very good artist in that I usually only do art when I'm taking classes. Isn't that bad? I know, but all right, you guys, you take care. I hope you enjoyed this, and feel free to leave any comments, or if you have any questions, leave them below. Thanks a lot for watching. Love you guys. Bye-bye.